Hey, great to have you here. So we got a few trailer drops today, one of which was Scream 7. I figured I'd try something different with this trailer reaction and review. Instead of doing an actual, watch along with the trailer because copyright's kind of a nightmare. Instead of doing images, I figured let's try just having the trailer pulled up and kind of glancing through it, seeing some of the shots of it, and trying to get some perspective as far as what could be happening here, or just kind of see what's really being shown off in the trailer. So I've watched it a couple times already, but I haven't really done a big deep dive into people's thoughts thus far. So a lot of this is gonna be kind of still fresh perspective from my thoughts here. So let's not waste any time. Let's just jump right into the trailer here. All right, so right away we're shown kind of the intro kill scene, it seems like, if you will, where we have this stew house and a couple people coming over here. It seems like it's like an Airbnb almost, where it's like, hey, come stay at the house where all this trauma took place and I don't know, have a good time or whatever. So we have them kind of walking up here and them seeing, as I said, they have these like scenes where people may have died on the floor here. So pretty wild that they would do that, but I guess they're kind of just mocking people's obsession with like killers and stuff like that. Yeah, they're staying at the psycho killer B&B here. It says he's pretending to be dead there. I love seeing Jimmy Tatro here, the actor. He's kind of a funny guy, I feel like, in movies and his YouTube stuff he's done in the past. So awesome to see him here. And in this scene, they just see this like animatronic that he's saying like is motion detected, at least what he thinks. So not sure what's going to happen with Jimmy here because he does not appear in the trailer after this scene, I don't think. You can kind of see in the background, we have these stab posters. So very much playing up the, hey, have a fun experience. Come to the spot where these people died. So beyond that, we then get the girl from the couple here. She's immediately running from Ghostface upstairs. So maybe that is a motion detector. Who knows exactly, but at some point we wind up being chased from downstairs by this Ghostface. And she's like throwing stuff at him. Eventually winds up on the chandelier, which is kind of a wild spot. Don't really know how she wound up in that situation per se. And then falls, and I believe falls on top of Ghostface down here, who has a knife and winds up potentially stabbing her here. So we'll see if there's a couple Ghostface in this opening scene or what's exactly going on here, but apparently these people are being attacked. I don't think they've ever done this before. It'd be interesting if they ever choose the route. I know they've had people that are, in theory, killed off in the movie wind up being the bad guy, like we had in Scream 6 with the daughter character. But I don't think they've ever done the thing where the person from the beginning, like opening kill situation, is one of the killers. So if you had something like Jimmy Tatro be one of the killers, would be kind of a fun, maybe twist up. Obviously, other franchises have kind of done that, but I don't think Scream has really done an opening kill be involved in the like later parts of the story. So other than that, we just get the companies here, and then we cut to Sydney here, and she's getting a call from apparently Woodsboro, and she picks it up. There's a lot of dialogue between Ghostface and Sydney in this trailer, like a lot of just back and forth. So not sure how much that we'll get in the movie, but it feels like there's a lot of talking by Ghostface in this one. And she gets a call, and it appears she's in this town now. I didn't really look it up, but I'm assuming she's not like in Woodsboro anymore. We see it in the background of this theater. It says like Dallas, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So it seems like she found another town to live in at this point in time, where she's kind of reestablishing her life and has a daughter, has a husband, and so forth, which we don't see the husband in the trailer here. So we'll have to see how much he's actually in the movie. I think Joel McHale is supposed to be playing the husband character. But yeah, we see this kind of nice little quaint town, feels very fall vibe-ish. And then we cut to Sydney's daughter here, and I'm trying to see in the background if there's any hints or maybe Easter eggs on the wall. I'm not really seeing much, just kind of a typical like teenage girls like posters and stuff. For the most part, it feels like there's like a board up here with a bunch of pictures. So not really much to call out there. We see her and her new friend group here, so presumably they're going to be involved in the story. And I don't know, maybe these two will get killed off. I would be surprised if Sydney's daughter got killed throughout the movie. Both Sydney and her daughter, I feel like, are typically like those type of characters are probably untouchable. These characters I could see being killed off. The returning characters that we do get, I could see happening too. We'll get to that at some point. So yeah, more conversation here where she's not believing who she's talking to is actually a threat. And it seems like maybe this is her new company, the Little Latte Coffee Co. Kind of a fun little quaint company, it seems. So maybe that's like her new little small business that she runs. But she's getting this call and she thinks it's a prank call. She's not buying it. And then we're cutting to her house now, presumably here. And we can't really see it here, but Ghostface comes down from the attic. So he's been hiding out in the attic the whole time, I guess. Not too sure there. But pops down. Kind of a cool scene with a thin corridor hallway type of setup here. And he's immediately chasing after Sydney and her daughter. And then you can kind of barely see it here, but they go in the walls. So she like closes off this safe. And then kind of like a Resident Evil 7 almost, or like a lot of horror movies have done this, or horror games, where you're like walking down this tight thing between two like rooms. And sure enough, we have Ghostface trying to stab both of them through the walls. Somehow he misses every time. I feel like they're screaming, which is a horrible choice. So I feel like he should pretty easily be able to stab them knowing where the noise is coming from. But he misses a whole lot trying to stab him through the wall, which we'll see another kind of wall scene again later on here. And they're just trying to escape, essentially. Another shot of that town from a different perspective, obviously. Same kind of like quaint little like one street that we're shown here with the theater once again. And we have a little bit of dialogue here. Her daughter wanting to be like her and wanting to be strong, not just like running away. So kind of that empowering moment for her daughter trying to be like Sydney. And then we get some dialogue between Sydney and Ghostface. And she's like, don't hurt my daughter. And Ghostface is like, I'm going to wait for you to do that. So he wants to really hit her where it hurts and I guess kill her daughter in front of her. Almost, it seems here. Then we see Gail show up and we have Chad here walking out. So we have Chad and Mindy coming back. I don't know if they're going to be like working for Gail or with Gail, what the point of their inclusion here is. Obviously, we have both of them right here once again. I could see these characters being killed off. I could maybe see Gail. I don't know. She's kind of a legacy character at this point, but I mean, what happened to Dewey happened, so it's possible. But I could see both of these being expendable at this point in time. Then we have maybe some of the friends of Tatum. So Sydney's daughter's name's Tatum, which is obviously named after her friend who passed in the first movie. Is this Chad here? It looks like he's struggling as well. So there's just a few scenes here. Somebody gets like wrapped up in this like kind of see it here. Someone gets wrapped up and like attacked, and we can't really see who it is. I don't think they want to show us. I don't imagine it's like a main character either way. I feel like it's probably some character who is probably not too integral. Although, yeah, maybe it's one of like Tatum's friends. Who knows? But running down the street, kind of a cool scene here. Sydney chasing after Ghostface potentially. And she's talking to her daughter. So it's presumably she's at her house and she's looking at like security cameras. And she's telling her daughter to shoot through the wall, similar with the knife earlier. Shoot through the wall and hit Ghostface, which I don't know if he's I guess maybe talking. I don't know how she would know where to point per se, other than trying to be guided by her mom. But she presumably pretty impressively shoots Ghostface through the wall and actually hits him. He's down now. She comes up to him. Doesn't finish the job though, and he like pops up. Yeah, she says make sure to give him a double tap. I think she hits him twice though, so triple tap, I guess. He pops back up here though in typical like horror fashion. And then from there, we just see a burning down building. It looks like it's Stu's house being burnt down by Ghostface. So not sure. Maybe this is like the end of the opening scene where that couple was killed and this is like trying to cover up tracks. It shows it at the end of the trailer, but it feels like it could be something earlier on in the movie potentially. Because we're not in really Woodsboro, I don't feel like, for a majority of the film, I would guess. And then from there, we just see the title pop up and like a slash through it. And we hear a voice, which certainly sounds like Stu. This is going to be fun. So they're definitely hinting at Stu's heavy involvement here. Not sure exactly how it's going to come into play. I know people have speculated, is it flashbacks? Is it AI? Not entirely sure. Maybe they'll do like every other movie did this year, every show where he had a twin brother actually this whole time. Not positive exactly how they're going to be involved. I'm glad that they didn't really show that. We have this large cast of returning characters, and we don't know really how they're going to be returning. So they didn't reveal that overly here, which I'm glad, because I'm a little bit worried about one of the trailers before the movie comes out giving us that information. But for now, I don't know. I've gone back and forth whether I think Stu's alive, because I think people are going to be really mad if he's not, and they kind of tease it. But at the same time, there's all these other characters. Maybe Stu is the only one who's actually alive. The other ones are just, deep fakes, AI type of stuff. Or maybe it's a Stu relative. who knows exactly? We'll have to see when we get more information or when the movie ultimately comes out. But what do you guys think? What do you think is going on here? Were you a fan of this trailer? It didn't really give us a lot, but I'm, as I said, kind of glad it didn't, because a lot of times movies get spoiled by the trailers. We just had some kind of like action sequences between Sydney, her daughter, and Ghostface. So I'm, moderately excited for this one. There's some parts that kind of make it feel like it's a tropey horror movie, which, I mean, Scream's always kind of been, so it fits that vibe. We just really weren't shown too much beyond some like chase and fight scenes that we didn't really get the culmination of either. So I think it's fun to get kind of a reveal and get people excited right around the Halloween time. So it's like kind of that time for people to be pumped for horror movies and just scary stuff in general. So I think the timing is great, but didn't tell us a whole lot here. So as I said, what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Other than that, we'll kind of keep an eye on things and talk more Scream 7 as it gets closer. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to talk to you again soon.